Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're in formulation chemistry, you already know the daily molecular battles we fight. You're constantly chasing that perfect finish, flawless application, ultimate durability. But, and we've all been there, sometimes the exact additives meant to save your formula just sabotage it instead. Today, we're jumping right into the ultimate face-off in performance coatings, polyether modified siloxanes or PES versus acetylenic diols, AD.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever dumped 3 different wetting agents into a formula, endlessly tweaking, and still pulled out a surface that's just covered in craters? Or maybe you swap out a single wetting agent and suddenly your entire leveling profile goes out the window? Or hey, even weirder, one additive completely kills your foam while another turns your batch into an absolute bubble bath? Yeah, if you've been there, you're definitely not alone.
We're talking ruined finishes, lost production time, and literally completely frustrated teams. It's a massive headache. So, okay, let's dive into this and actually decode the chemistry. You see, a lot of formulators treat all wetting agents like they're just interchangeable, like they do the exact same job. But PS and AD, they aren't just different chemicals. They don't even solve the same problems. We're going to demystify exactly why changing just one wetting agent can either give you perfect flow or totally wreck your system with foam. Let's fix that formulation strategy. All right, let's introduce our first protagonist, polyether modified siloxanes, PES. Imagine a highly flexible, comb-like or sometimes ABA block structure. The backbone here is polysiloxane. It's incredibly flexible, very low intermolecular forces. And attached to that backbone are polyether side chains. Now, the brilliant part about this, those side chains are completely customizable. You've got your hydrophilic parts that love water and lipophilic parts that love weak polar resins. By just tweaking the length and ratio of those chains, chemists can dial in the exact hydrophilic-lipophilic balance, the HLB. It's a real game changer because it makes PES insanely versatile across both water and solvent-based systems. Now, on the other side of the ring, let's meet protagonist number 2, acetylenic diols, or AD. This structure is, well, it's fundamentally different from PES. Instead of that long, flexible comb, AD is super compact, rigid, and highly symmetrical. It is built right around a rigid triple carbon bond core, flanked by hydroxyl groups acting as hydrophilic centers, along with symmetrical hydrophobic groups. And because its structure is so vastly different, it behaves completely differently at the interface. It's there to solve an entirely different set of problems for your coatings.
Section 1. Meet the strategic defender, polyether modified silicones, or PES. Think of PES as your trench warfare master. It doesn't rush, it takes a sec to establish its position, but once it does, it achieves this incredible ultimate static equilibrium. To picture this, visualize an anchor spread model. When you drop PES into a coating, it quickly migrates to the interface. Those hydrophilic polyether chains plunge deep into the liquid, literally acting like a heavy anchor locking the whole molecule in place. Meanwhile, that hydrophilic siloxane backbone, it flattens and spreads across the surface like a sleep protective shield. This highly stable setup drastically drops the interface's free energy, effectively stopping those crater-causing instabilities in their tracks. And when we talk about dropping surface energy, PES has unparalleled dominance in static surface tension. Think about it. Water has a natural surface tension of around 72 millinewtons per meter. PES can drag that all the way down to 22 millinewtons per meter, sometimes even lower. When your coating's surface tension drops below the critical surface energy of your substrate, wetting just happens spontaneously. The coating literally wants to bond with the surface. And this brilliantly illustrates the true superpowers of PES. Because of that extreme low surface energy, you get perfect mirror-like leveling. It completely eliminates the Marangoni effect, that annoying surface tension gradient that gives you orange peel. It easily wets out extremely low-energy substrates like untreated polypropylene. Plus, that silicone layer is sitting right on top. It gives you superior surface slip, scratch resistance, and even anti-graffiti properties. Oh, and thanks to the strong bonds in the siloxane backbone, you're getting fantastic thermal and oxidative stability. Absolutely crucial for high-bake or highly weatherable systems. But Anne, this is a big but. Beware the defender's trap. The extreme surface activity of PS is a total double-edged sword. Put in too much or use one that isn't perfectly compatible with your resin, and it will stabilize air in your system. We're talking microbubbles and foam that are an absolute nightmare to remove. And actually, even worse, that beautiful, low-energy, slippery surface it creates, it essentially acts like a non-stick frying pan. So if you're formulating a multi-coat system, the next layer of paint just will not stick. You are looking at catastrophic inner coat adhesion failures. All right, Section 2. Meet the rapid responder. Acetylenic Diols, AD. So if PES is our trench warfare master, AD is absolutely the blitzkrieg expert. It only cares about what is happening right now, in that exact fraction of a second, when the coating hits the substrate. Picture AD like a lightning-fast messenger navigating a crazy obstacle course. Because it has this small, rigid, linear backbone, it just shoots right through the coating matrix and arrives at newly formed interfaces instantly. Its highly ordered, rigid structure perfectly wedges itself between water molecules, rapidly shattering their hydrogen bonds right on impact. It is a highly efficient, super-targeted disruptor.
Now, what's really interesting here is how that structure translates directly into performance. AD's main superpower is millisecond dynamic wetting. In high-speed roller or spray applications, you're creating new interfaces in milliseconds. AD gets there instantly to stop edge retraction and dynamic craters. And remember how we said Ps can cause foam? Well, AD actually does the exact opposite. Its rigid structure forms this inelastic film at the bubble surface that just easily shatters. Meaning AD is functionally a defoamer, which massively simplifies your entire formulation. It also brings excellent chemical stability across super wide pH ranges, and it has very low water sensitivity, so no blushing or tackiness when your cured film is exposed to moisture.
But you know, AD definitely has its limitations too. It simply cannot reach those extreme low static surface tension levels that PES is famous for. If you're trying to wet out an extremely low surface energy plastic, AD alone is going to struggle. Plus, it provides practically zero surface slip or scratch resistance. It is not going to fix your high-end automotive topcoat leveling by itself. Basically, it does its fast-paced job and gets the heck out of the way, leaving the final surface feel entirely up to the rest of your formula.
Section 3. Complementary, not competitive. Building the ultimate system.
Okay, so this brings us to a really critical realization. These two chemicals, they are not rivals. They are a highly complementary duo. Seriously, the biggest mistake a formulator can make is treating them as interchangeable. You really have to understand their boundaries to use them right. Look at this breakdown. PES totally owns the static equilibrium. It's that trench warfare master focusing entirely on perfecting your final cured film finish. Meanwhile, AD owns the dynamic response, handling the chaotic, millisecond dynamics of the application process itself. Simply put, one handles the journey, the other handles the destination.
Section 4. Your formulation playbook. Actionable rules for the lab. So the crucial point is how you actually apply this in the lab tomorrow morning. If you're going to take a mental snapshot of anything in this explainer, make it this matrix. Designing a high-speed water-based spray or roller coating, your primary weapon is AD to handle that intense dynamic wetting. Formulating a high-end clear coat where you need absolute mirror-like leveling, reach for PS to get that flawless static finish. What if you're facing an extreme low-surface energy substrate? Well, use them together. AD for the rapid initial wetting, and PS to drop the ultimate surface energy. And finally, if you're building a multi-coat or recoat system, listen up. Strictly restrict your PS usage. You really want to avoid creating that non-stick layer that completely destroys your intercoat adhesion.
Which brings us to our final thought. Are you still forcing one wetting agent to do the job of two? Look, by truly understanding the profound structural differethences between polyether modified siloxanes and acetylenic diols, you can finally stop fighting your formulas and start engineering them. Match the molecule directly to the physics of your application and just watch those defects disappear. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep experimenting, keep optimizing, and we will catch you next time as we decode more of the science behind the products you build.